From what we know about past, the hyperbolic move cycle is the year after the cuts. That makes sense. What really happens is that the network's fair value doubles. If everything goes as planned, we'll then reach 2.3x fair value due to fear of missing out FOMO and the progress in the leverage. This time though, I think the influence is less. We're now at 150. Let's say 150 or 160. That would be by April or May 25th. Now that this is over, I think it depends. I've been telling everyone that this could be the best Thanksgiving ever. Mark Yusko, founder and CEO of Morgan Creek Capital Management, has updated his bullish BTC price forecast for the bull market in 2024 and 2025. According to Yusko, this cycle will be different from any other we've seen. By April or May 2025, Bitcoin's price could go from $150,000 to $160,000. Yusko notices that every time Bitcoin is split in half, there is generally a hyperbolic move cycle in the following year. He is aware of some other unique factors that might affect Bitcoin's growth during this cycle though. The recent halving event cut the number of new Bitcoin coins that were created by half. Yusko predicts a supply shock that could cause the price to rise by a huge amount because there will be fewer coins available. When you add this to the rising demand from institutions, the market will go through a huge surge, sending Bitcoin's price to all-time highs. Watch some clips of Mark Yusko as he talks about how this cycle might be different from the others. We've had the ETF for about 3 months now, and I think that about 10% of the money coming into this space comes from the registered investment managers who hold all the boomers' cash. That means that the boomers have around $30 trillion with these wealthy people. I think 300 billion will come into this space. That's 1% of 30 trillion. Scott, that's more money than has ever been turned into Bitcoin in the past 15 years. That's pretty cool. Because people forget about how the bid-ask can multiply the bid, right? I changed some cash into Bitcoin, but I don't want to sell it. Price has to go up for someone to get me to sell. That's how you get that number. And I don't think the gap between 118 will be very big. It was a really, really big number when we talked about pennies, dollars, $10 or $20. Today I'm going to guess that the ratio is around 20, which means that adding 300 billion would raise the market cap by 6 trillion. It's not important that the number goes up. The point is that the value will keep going up. The number of people who use technology will keep going up. And finally, it's a treasure that can only be used so many times. Some people say that Satoshi could show up and add more. He showed us the lines of code that say that's not allowed. In addition, Mark Yusko talks about what he thinks about a new study from the International Monetary Fund, IMF. This study recognizes that Bitcoin is becoming more popular for international money transfers, especially in countries with strict rules about money transfers. More and more people in these countries are using Bitcoin to send money across borders more easily because it is decentralized and doesn't go through standard banking systems. But the study also says that using Bitcoin for transactions across borders could come with some risks. According to the study, the fact that cryptocurrencies offer anonymity can make it harder to keep an eye on and regulate financial activities, which could make illegal activities like money laundering easier to do. Now let's go back to Mark Yusko and hear what he has to say about this story. It must be a trend, right? That one of the biggest global lenders is admitting that, yes, there's this new technology that threatens our dominant control of. If you want to rule a country and make it poor, you give it a lot of money that they know they can't pay back and then take their valuables. And it works really, really well because the dollar has been the most important coin for so long. But that is now in danger. And being under threat means something bad. It is changing. The truth is that the dollar has not been the world's main currency for the whole time it has existed. It hasn't happened yet. Truth be told, it's only been the most important coin for a short time, about 80 years. And yes, that is our life cycle as people who are living now. In fact, though, other countries like Portugal, Spain, the Netherlands, and the UK have had the upper hand many times in the past, and they use the same method. That's why giving money to governments has been a way to rule for hundreds of years. Actually, if I want to send money to, say, my made-up mother-in-law in El Salvador, she would get 70 pesos from the dollar I send. This is because Western Union, the Bank of International Settlements, and a bunch of other companies would take their cut. She would be here in Chapel Hill visiting from Tulsa. Think about that, a 30% drop. She would get 100 pesos if I sent them through the Bitcoin blockchain with the Strike app. That is better than 7. It's very important to be quick and cheap. And I mean, I've recently had this argument with other people. You know how the Solana network always crashes, gets too busy, and deals don't go through? That is a problem, yes. But the truth is that when it works, I can send USDC anywhere in the world right away for a few pennies. That is better. And someone asked an interesting question: would anyone use Ethereum if it didn't exist and was invented today? That's really cool, right? Because it costs more and takes longer than Solana and other options. Why would you go that way? In fact, it wasn't invented second, it was invented first, and there are more developers who have worked on it. So the winner isn't the best tool, but the one that gets enough people to use it first. That's the way to win. That's all the important crypto news for today. Stay tuned for more news, analysis, and views from the world of cryptocurrency.